compressed air. Now you can get that compressed air generating from a solar, which goes into which generates from a solar power on your roof. So a solar panel on your roof, which gets you hot water and all that sort of thing, and then that can be then connected to the generator, which compresses your air, and then you can fill your car up. So do you know what? With some water tanks on the side of your house, you actually have a completely self-sufficient house. You might run into some problems of a night time when you start to run out of your daytime energy and that sort of thing, but hopefully battery technology gets a little bit better. That's actually the only problem that we face at the moment. And I believe that once, we've been talking about how, combustion engine technology has been getting held back from oil companies, I reckon battery technology has been getting held back, because that's the only thing. If we had a fucking big battery at a house that could store all of our energy, then you could just get the sun off the roof and then just run your house and run your car.
That's the only problem we have with solar power is the ability to store the energy. So
can you honestly say that in the past fucking 40 years, we've never had a battery change its shape? Like a AA or a AAA batteries, shit we put in remotes and that. Can you say that we can't get a better battery? Sure, you can buy Energizer lithium or some shit that lasts fucking long, but can't you just get a battery that fucking lasts?
Yeah.
For like years and years, like 3 years, 4 years.
There is no doubt that so many products in history have been thwarted because of money interests that go against the betterment of humanity because of those products. There are so many, electricity products. Like, for example, the light bulb.
Yeah.
The first one that was invented, apparently the filament doesn't break and lasts forever, but they were forced to break because obviously
they were forced to be made to break.
Light bulbs need to be able to sell. That's just the whole point of planned obsolescence.
The first light bulb that was ever created is still working in a museum. Yeah, it's in a museum, actually still working, but they decided...
and that's the whole, the most disgusting, it makes me sick thing about the economy is planned obsolescence. That is just foul.
Well, do you want to explain it?
Oh, so there is actually a rule, or a clause, I don't know
it was passed by an act by the government, American government after the first global financial crisis near the Second World War. And it was basically a clause saying because they were making goods that were lasting too long, so people weren't keep ticking the economy over, so it wasn't breaking fast enough for them to go out and buy a new good to have the economy tick over. So people were making all these goods, toaster that lasted fucking 10 years, and then it's sort of like, no, we need that to break once a year, you know what I mean? So they brought in a tool, they brought in... which would have been alright because we were only at 2 billion people at that stage. You know what I mean? They might have gone, oh, well, fuck it, who cares? We got shit to waste, And anyway, but still, it's bad. But then they brought in a clause saying, well, planned obsolescence, everything has to have a lifespan according to what's in the product. And so, for instance, a toaster has to break every 1.5 to 2 years. Isn't it funny how your mobile phone always sort of breaks around that 1.5 to 2.5 year period? Isn't it funny?
Or when the next iPhone comes out, my iPhone definitely is slower as soon as iPhone 5 came out. And
battery starts
3G is so slow now that 4G is out.
Yeah, 3G is decidedly slower. Decidedly. And when I say decidedly, someone's made a decision to make it slower. You got...
But okay, so you've got that, the planned obsolescence, and then around about the same time, in conjunction with the beginning of what is now consumerism culture, consumerist culture, and that happened at a definite moment in history in American culture. If you watch The Century of the Self, that's also another really interesting documentary talking about consumerist culture, and it began with advertising, and it was a deliberate, concerted effort by mostly Edward Bernays, that awesome fucking guy,
fuckface,
who made a concerted effort to put out enticements and manipulate the psyche of the public to want things that they don't need, and that is the first time that's where it all began, where people start to want things that they don't need, and that is, I think, one of the main issues that we've got in terms of turning ourselves around in this system and figuring out a better way of doing things, is that we're conditioned to want things that we don't need.
That's right.
And I think, it's going to be very hard to get ourselves out of that.
You've got a lot of fucking girls against you on that point. A lot of girls would be going, but I just like shopping, I just like going out and buying that. I like filling my wardrobe. It makes me feel good, What's wrong with that? I deserve to. I work hard. You know what I mean? There's a fucking massive culture of people who want to leave that behind.
Yeah, so the question is then, is that well, firstly, we know that consumerism is bad for our future as humans because we know it's not going to last on this planet. So whether or not it's okay to have those feelings of I like going shopping and makes me feel good, whether or not that's a natural human tendency of pleasure and, that's a very pure thing to get your pleasure from, whatever, whether or not that's true, it doesn't matter because the fact is we cannot continue that behaviour.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really matter whether or not it's natural or pure or whatever. But, okay, having said that, let's assume... my opinion is that I don't think that is the purest form of pleasure. I don't think that is something that humans have gotten pleasure at from the word dot when we're here. Obviously, it's not. I think that those people, I would say to them who say those types of things, that I would say go and sort of maybe spend a bit of time with yourself and figure out and have a think about why it is that those things give you pleasure. Why do you like shopping?
Go and spend some time with my chance.
And try and unravel the conditioning that you've been... the things that you've been taught to give you pleasure and try and figure out your own reasons for pleasure. And if you come up with the same thing, then fine, whatever, at least you've tried. But I think that, yes, I mean, we have been conditioned into...
Well, do you know what might be helping that? Do you know what might be helping that? Because there's a big difference of retail consumerism and online consumerism. Because it's just, you just don't get the same sort of desire.
I absolutely love online shopping.
So online shopping might be a way around that. Online shopping might be a way around that because you don't get the same, you click a button, you give some cash away and then it comes in the mail. Sort of like, it's not like you're fucking, with your lovely bag, you're all dressed up, having everyone see you on fucking... Well, the difference is really, isn't it, that when you're shopping in person, you are being presented with all these possibilities of things that you could want. And of course, you're going to end up wanting things that you hadn't even thought of previously before seeing it. And that is, I think, one of the things about the economics and all that I don't think works. Supply and demand controlling supply. I don't think that works because people don't want things that they don't know exist. Yeah. Like, if you put, I know with me, definitely, and with most people, you put food in front of me, I'm going to want to eat it. But before you showed that to me, I didn't want the food. Yeah, that's
and the same with any, clothes, whatever. There's most things that you find that you're on the hunt for.
Yeah.
You want only because you've been shown that. And I think that's where you need to start. When we start thinking about how we're going to improve and clean up industries that are polluting the planet, most people would say, for example, with oil you were talking about before, okay, cool, so oil is going to get more and more expensive as we run out of it and as the earth runs out of it, and that's what's going to end up pushing us towards greener technologies and hydroelectric cars or whatever it is. Yeah. Well, no, I don't think that's the correct way of... I don't think we should be looking towards that to fix things because why not... the damage is going to get done before we make the technological change. What we need to be looking for is going, all right, fuck everyone's demands. All their desires and all the consumerist desires, they're flawed anyway. Fuck them off. Let's think about what we're doing in the supply, how we're supplying all these products, and let's fix that up. Then we'll go out and then we'll show the public what we've got. We'll go out, we'll fix out all the industries, and we'll make everything green, sustainable, and proper. Figure out what we're able to supply in a sustainable way. Then we can go out and sell these things and find out if people want them, rather than the other way around. Yeah. Don't let the demand for people's fucked up desires dictate how much we fuck the planet in getting those desires.
I wrote an article for Zeitgeist actually on that called ethical production versus ethical consumption. He said should it mainly be up to the production of the product, the producers of the product, to ethically produce it, or should it be up to the consumer through their purchases to ethically make the right decisions? And I think it's a pretty obvious one. The person producing the product should be doing it more ethically. Now, the reason, because it's hard enough to even find out one thing about something you buy, these days, sure, we got these labels, heart tick and all this shit, but, we heard that thing the other day about you can't even get a heart tick without giving the Heart Foundation $20,000. Yeah. You have to actually give the Heart Foundation $20,000 to get the heart tick on your thing.
Well, it's a brand, yeah.
It's a brand, yeah, got it. So, it's all business.
Well, the thing is, what you're saying is that it's the consumer is so disconnected from the productions, the way that the product is produced, that it's going to be impossible for us to make ethical decisions. So it's up to the producer to make those ethical decisions.
Yeah, well, like I say, you got this analogy which is like the 3 Ps, okay? In production, great. The 4 Ps. The 3 Ps in production. So you got people, profit, planet. Now, unfortunately, one of them is drastically outweighing the other 2 at the moment, and that's the reason why we're in this mess. So, profitability of business is the most important thing on this planet at the moment. what all these green movements and what all films such as Zeitgeist, Thrive, Owned and Operated, yes, or more, but Occupy Wall Street, all these things, all these movements come together and join the one aspect is that if we want to continue with this, well, Zeitgeist is not on this page because they just want a completely new system, but Occupy Wall Street, and that if we want to continue with this system, with this economic paradigm which we've created for ourselves, we need to think of these three things. We need to think of people, profit, and planet. Quality of a person's life, sure, profitability of business, because that's the thing that makes it tick over, and also the environmental impact that the profitability has, that the profitability the business creates. Did I just say that right? I think I fucked that up. Yeah, no. The profitability.
People, planet, and profit.
Yeah.
The impact of that business on the planet.
On the planet. Fuck. Come on. Right. Anyway, so they're the three things that any business in the future needs to go down the road. Now, if you want to break that down again, then you've got one word that can summarise all that up. And that's pretty much, well, summarise two of them up, is sustainability. Sustainability in business, which is what sort of the road Zeitgeist and Jack Fresco and Furnace Project goes down, is sustainability has got to be a way of the future. Until we get the technology where we can get a nanobot to be able to fucking create anything in the world that we want. Oh, you want a fan? All right, we'll print it. There's a printer in your house which will print a fan, which will print a fucking, a fish bowl, which will print a TV for you. Until we've got that technology, we need to, go down the line of sustainability in business. And
even when we've got that technology, it's got the same rules. Even no matter what technology
no, because
does
they'll just be creating it for nothing.
There's nothing. You can't get anything from nothing. There will be a detriment to the environment in some way from that. Whatever happens, no matter how technology gets, we need to be...
extreme limited detriment to the environment in the most up-to-date manner.
Sustainability means there is no negative impact, as in there is always, it's going to be completely possible to continue this forever and ever.
Yeah, well, to the sustainable, to the most, to the best amount of technology which you have at the time.
Well, yeah, if we don't have very good technology, then we have to make less of them or whatever.
But we don't have any excuse for anything now. We've got the technology for everything. Clean energy, fucking clean food, clean everything. That's a big problem with this GMO debate, with this genetically modified food debate. If we weren't trying to cut costs and be more efficient in business, then there's absolutely no reason to have GMOs in food. If we weren't trying to make a business more profitable or get greater yields to get more profit through more limited food source, then the
main reason for GM foods is for feeding the amount of people we've got on the planet.
Yeah, but if there's no efficiency in business, if you don't need to be efficient, if you just need to do things at a sustainable level, you'd have more area to farm, you'd be able to make food more...
We actually have to... Okay, technology that's going to allow us to have this type of population growth is GM foods. Yeah. That's the only way that we can feed these people.
Before we even go any further, vertical farms. There you go. Bang. As soon as you say the word vertical farm and you put it into practice, and it there's nothing else. You can't say anything else about it because it's all possible. It just costs too much money to do it. Yeah. So if we're doing it for the sake of people over profit, these people need to live. They need to survive. So we're going to give them food. Then profit shouldn't really come into it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But then what happens is you move into this concept of capitalist, socialist, communist. What is it? And that's sort of even why we're having this discussion at the moment. Capitalist is a 20th century concept. Socialism, 18th century, communism, 18th century, something like that. We're in the 21st century now. What's going to be the next system? Because there is one coming up. And it might be, if it's not in our lifetime, it'll probably be in our children's lifetime.
Well, without a doubt, I don't care what people think of capitalism and how it makes their life better. It is not working.
It's not.
It's not working. And we've given it a good shot. If you take a snapshot of the globe at the moment, that is capitalism at its best. That is all it's going to be. There's no waiting for something else to happen. It's not going to do anything better if we tweak this rule here and tweak that rule there. This is what capitalism brings us, and it is simply not good enough.
No, well, it's not good enough if you think about the world as a whole. There is a sort of a concept which Kevin Rudd tried to bring in and it didn't really work. Well, it didn't work because he got voted out. But he tried to bring in a term called social capitalism, and that is where government completely and utterly regulates big business and distributes their super profit. So let's say, for instance, like he tried to do with the mining tax, which he got voted out for because big business will always beat government. He tried to bring in tax for the super profits of the mining industry, because while they're making big bucks, why doesn't it go to the lower income families of Australia? You know, why can't
especially when they're making money from the resource